You've been playing Lotus wrong. Stop overemphasizing rubble control and start emphasizing control of the Lotus Speedway. This little strip in the middle of Lotus is the key to gaining control and winning rounds so you can win your premier matches on Lotus. And what's that? All without a duelist? Let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm STACKMANDU, head chef for Nerd Punt in Valorant Challenges Oceania, and this is my second Premier playbook here for Lotus to help you guys win your Premier games. Really excited to get stuck into this one. We're going to look at a little bit of map theory and then go over some strats, the agent comp, and I'll leave you at the end with some lineups. If you want access to the full playbook, you can head to my Discord by clicking the link in the description and go through it. Become a culinary student, open up the playbook and follow along while we go through the tactics that we're going to be using to win Lotus. Okay, so how do we actually play Lotus? Now, the first thing that I want to start with is, what is the most important part of Lotus? If you said A, rubble and root, you would be incorrect. This is the biggest misconception that most players have about Lotus, is they overvalue this space. Now, this space is valuable. I don't think it's the most valuable space on the map. We're going to get to that in a minute because I'm going to explain why there's a bit of a misconception around this. Now, getting control of rubble is strong. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely strong. Getting your Omen up here on defense versus the attackers. You know, attackers try to TP across this way with Omen, and Neon has become very popular because stunning this to get and walling up to get control of rubble over this side is all really great stuff. Don't get me wrong. But what can you actually do with rubble? Think about that. There's not much. There's not much as an attacker that you can actually do from this space. This angle is still really hard to fight from. You have terrible angle advantage for all of these fights, and you will lose this most of the time unless you're swinging it really correctly with util flashes and it's supported. If you're just swinging this dry against opposition, the defensive players have a massive angle advantage on you. Not only are you so close to this wall, you also have so many different angles to fight. You can get spammed, and this is very much a defender weighted fight. So why do defenders fight so strongly for this space? Well, if you're able to do something like this, you get yourself into a really strong position. Omen's able to hold this choke point, and if you're able to keep the attackers behind this choke, it makes things a lot easier for you to defend. You can get early information, Omen can TP away, and you have lots of time to react if they're coming A. Now, this is the great thing to be able to do. It also gives you the option to flank through, and it maintains control of the A side of the breakable door. And this is where some different theory starts to come in. What happens if Omen gets cleared out here, is able to get out and get away and fall back to this space and sort of fight for this area from A, and the attackers, they move down and into these spots. Now, you still got plenty of time to react, and the attackers still don't have a lot of power here. But if they get to this area, that's where things start to become threatening, because all of a sudden they have access to two different sites very, very closely. So this is the first part of the problem, controlling the A orb area. And secondary to this, and what I think is actually the most important area of the map, and it's so often ignored, is B main. Now, can you notice the similarities between the A orb area and B main? Immediate pressure on two different sites. If you have control of either or both of these areas, it means you're able to thin out the defense and make reactive plays based on where they're most weak. If you see that there's three towards A and you have players in A orb or grass or A main, you might call it, you can elect to go through A link. Combine that with, if you have players in B, you can run a B split. You can send players around to go and set up for a B split. Similarly, if you have the control of B main, you have the option to either go B or C here. So defenders have to respect both. They either have to gamble one of the sites, and if you get enough intel, you can make a good decision based on finding out that they might be gambling, or they have to spread themselves thin, and you can use the door to regroup and hit against what is going to be either weak site. And this is what I call the Lotus Speedway. So this area that extends from the back of C mound all the way through to A is the area that if defenders control this horizontal lane of the map, they are more often able to stay ahead of the attackers, react to them, rotate faster, rather than rotating all the way through spawn or all the way back around here. They can take quick rotates through this part of the map. So we are most interested in defending outside A door, B main, and holding control in C mount. If we have to give up one of them, we want to make sure that we have control of the other, because this gives us easy access to two different sites. Now, in the context of the Speedway, you can see why Rubble is hotly contested, because by proxy, it is defending this space right here. You're just able to hold it down here at the choke. But this isn't the end all and be all. You have more options. You can take control other places on the map. You don't have to die fighting for this just for the sake of fighting for it. What you really need to understand is that you're just trying to control this fork in the road between A link and A. You want to be able to, if there are attackers in this space, come in and crunch to fight them. Don't just wait for them to make a decision. This is a good place to fight these players. And this is where the first agent of our comp comes in, Viper. This is why we use this wall as opposed to something like a site wall. We don't want to be able to cut ourselves off from defending A. We're just giving them smokes. A Viper wall like this or Omen smokes like this just smokes A side off for them to help them make an easier decision of running B. What we want to do instead is help defend this space. This Viper wall allows us to fight for this space here. So you don't ever want to smoke this space. You can smoke tree and stop them from coming through this way, but you want to smoke this, flash out, stun, whatever it is, and you want to fight the attackers right here. Don't let them dictate where they want to go. You want to stop them in these forks in the road. If they come into B main, you want to fight for this B main control. You don't want to let them just be able to rotate out to C. You want to come get an op into this line, open up this door, flash through, crunch them with pressure from B as well, and don't make it comfortable for them in here. Flush this out. There's a couple of core comp ideas that you'll see on Lotus. We have breach double initiator, where you're really using that breach most often around that A rubble control, but also in different parts of the map, C mound, outside B, all really great breach stun locations. Lots of great rolling thunders as well. Most commonly, you'll see him with Omen, sometimes Astra, and then he's paired up most commonly with Omen. Omen has a lot of those great TPs, which give us access to different parts of the map. Sometimes you'll see Astra very rarely, and then you get to choose what kind of duelist and intel initiator pairing you want, along with your preferred sentinel. So Raise Fade will get a go, Jet Sova, Neon Sky. These are the most common pairings. Sometimes they'll get mixed and matched, but this initial two columns is what you'll most often see. KJ is most popular on Lotus for lots of very good reasons, but Cypher can be really popular along with Sova or the Jet. You can play for extra scans value, which we'll get into with the Odin ahead. Alternatively, you have very similar comps, but instead of running the breach, you're running a slower, more control-y style with that Viper. So it's depending on how you want to take control of the map with assertive breach utility or with slow, drawn-out Viper utility. Same sort of combinations that you'll see with Viper as that fifth instead of the breach, so the double smokes. On the fringe as well, there has been some chamber double senti, getting the chamber on the op lines. You get Omen and Sky are really important for this comp. They both have the cyclable utility so that they can survive as solo role players. And your favorite kind of duelist, which suits. And then your personal preference for duelist, Raze generally is the most popular on Lotus. But what are we playing? Well, this is the double-double. We are playing double initiator, double smokes with the chamber. So we're going to be pairing Breach and Sky along with Viper and Omen. And then chamber is going to play our pseudo duelist and strong operator user on defense, providing just enough flank coverage with the trip and the recent buffs to its range that you can move around with it still active is wonderful for some of the lurks and positionings that we need. And we're going to be playing a very slow, methodical match of attrition. There's going to be lots of little battles, and there's going to be teams that are better and more explosive in some of those early battles. But over time, we're going to whittle them down, whittle them down, whittle them down. We have lots of recyclable, high value util, and they're going to be starved. They're going to be out of util by the end of the round, and we're going to be good to go. So our breach util can be pretty self-explanatory. We're going to use it to take space, but the Viper util is a little bit more complex. There's lots of different options that you have. This is a good default option for you with this Viper's wall cutting off this space. We can sky flash through this to isolate the pocket information and get Viper through. You can also orb into here and throw that up the stairs with the lineup. And there's a few different variations of the Viper walls that you can throw. You can check all of these out in the playbook. So different parts of early map control, taking A with this Viper orb. A lot of our early map control, we're going to be used to either draw pressure somewhere or deposit someone so that we can create pressure somewhere else. And we're going to have to be thinking about the map in a macro scale. Lots of listening for sound cues and rotates and finding weaknesses in the defense. We're looking to get as much control of the speedway as we can so that we can make good decisions on which site we want to hit and move quickly and ahead of the defenders. For example, taking control of this B main space, fighting for it. Sky is going to be really wonderful at clearing this space early, and then we can deposit Omen, Viper, or Chamber into this space. Depending on who is in that space means we can play around those things differently. So have an idea of what your options are. For example, we have a C split here on attack where Omen with this Viper wall, if you've elected to use it this round, A's tripped off from coverage. Just be aware that it can get smoked off. But Omen can then TP into this smoke and create a lot of pressure while still flashing for the team on this C execute. Using the sky to scan for information means that we can hold the stun if needed. We can also use it off rip, use the one way as well for getting Chamber onto this line. Chamber then can also sit in C mound and take a lot of presence there. You'll often see Chamber being the main depositor on C, Viper your main depositor on A, and Omen your main depositor on B. You can switch those around freely, but if you do need a default agent for those things, that's what you're going for. Now, while this isn't an execute heavy comp, you do want to know what to do if you get stuck, it's late in the round, or you need a tempo switch. Knowing where util is going on site is really important. So what we have here is your 5 agents towards A. We've got a safer trip here from Chamber so it can't get smoked off. You can put that outside the B box if you want to, but this is thinking we're committing to A in this round. Maybe we have breach ult here as well, so we can use the rolling thunder through tree instead of this stun, and this stun can be followed up deeper. But we're going to dog through tree. We're going to flash and use the Viper smokes to take this space to take a rubble early. And then once we get up into main, we're going to keep this door closed so that we know if they're coming through. When you reactivate Viper's utility, just put the wall up. Don't put this orb up. You're going to molly through stairs to stop any run through on this wall. Care behind this box. Be sure to spam it. And then you're going to double lane the breach and Omen utility. If you're ever unsure of what you need to do in a pinch, just double lane your breach stun and your Omen flash. You're going to crowd control so many angles. So with that, Trailblazer comes through tree, Viper, breach, and Sky are going to follow in behind that. If the door closes for Sky, you can regroup here with Chamber and Omen. Chamber's going to be holding any walkouts while Sky is dogging here as well, of course, and be ready to catch anyone coming through door and playing for TP quick kills. Then after that, breach flash through this door, Sky flash backside, Omen one way for dugout. This can be aftershocked and mollied as well, and then Omen smoke for heaven because we have the Viper smokes that we can be reactivating for site. Now you can pick up this orb and chuck it onto the bomb. If you're playing a heavy post plant, you can also use it on site to create some chaos and play in it. You can throw it back up towards stairs. You can do lots of things, but Viper picking up this orb is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Now we have Here's a default template for a B split, Viper and Breach being deposited in A main with the A main control. We have a switch up of the B wall. This can still be done with the standard default wall on A. But in this case, we're going to use this Viper orb to cross, pick this up, throw it up towards the box here to cut off our entrance, and then we can use it to go in for the split. Really nice stun all the way through A link, Heaven, and into C link here from Breach. You can follow that up with flashes and aftershock to clear out A link if there is anyone still there. Viper can hang really, really late here and kill anyone trying to come through or clear out Breach, backstab Breach coming through A. And then you can play mollies onto the bomb if it's planted default through the hole in the wall. Lots of great stuff. The Viper wall does help Omen with this with the smokes here. Rather than having to smoke double, he can double charge one onto C-Link if he needs to, or he can pop the second one onto Heaven. That flash comes through all this close angle on site, and then Sky Flash allows us to get further into sight, chamber leading the charge, TP out if he needs to, and we've got the Sky Flash into B main to start to clear out that space before we go in as well. And then to cap it all off, watching the C flank with a trip. And here's that idea of the C split before. Obviously, this can just be done with a simple normal execute with Omen coming through and regrouping. But if you do want to get a little bit spicy, you can create a lot of pressure by TPing up here. If you TP up here, you can also, instead of using Paranoia here, you can use it in C-Link and flash through with it yourself. This flash will clear the close angle. Your Paranoia clears the back angles here, and you are good to go. Just make sure you've got this Viper wall if you want to go for this strategy. Defensive schemes revolve around a couple of very simple ideas. Early Omen one-ways, outside C mound, outside A, and early breach stuns to deny any kind of rush and get control of the map. Then complementing those kind of things, we have Viper setups that get lots of value across the map, and Sky generally either supporting a big push with the team, maybe to get a rubble, maybe to get outside B or outside C, or getting early info to help get chamber onto a strong line with the operator, so we can just leave chamber out on an early information line. He can get a pick with the operator or fall back. Otherwise, if Chambers may be playing B, Sky can push out with info outside of C or outside of A if there's no information shown, and we can start to crunch in on the attackers and enclose them, force them to go a certain direction. Make sure you come to the playbook and check out the retake sequences here. They're pretty simple. I won't go over them here. Make sure you go check out the playbook. One thing that I do want to go over is this pistol round strat right here. You're going to deposit Viper in towards A. She's going to get a lurk and get some listening on those audio cues for rotates as well. So that's going to inform your decision making. What the rest of the team is going to do is send 3 in towards B here. Omen can come here early too if needed, but you want someone watching this early push out from C as well. Using this Viper wall, we're going to get this orb onto Breach. We're looking to farm orbs to try and get an early Breach ultimate. It's going to give us a lot of momentum for the half. So get this orb onto Breach, use the Sky Flash to clear out this angle. We're going to start conditioning this space as well. Then we're going to cross over, use the Omen smoke here if you really need to, if you don't think you can afford to take this duel. And then we're going to open the door with the Viper wall up so that we don't get pinged through C, and we can clear out behind the box, and then drop the wall and Omen come through for a crunch onto C mound. If there's anyone that's taken early aggression C mound playing kind of ratty, we get to kill them. We're going to get the orb onto Breach for that second one. And by the time that they've seen this, they're going to see a Viper wall is C. We've gone from B to C. Rotate's going to start moving. Viper's going to get a bit more space. Hopefully she hasn't been picked off by that point. Make sure you play it really super passively, and you're not looking for a fight. You're looking for space so the team can funnel in behind you. So we get this C orb, we cut noise, Viper wall can go up, we can Omen smoke across, like deny information there. We walk out until we're out of hearing range, and then we go in towards A. Now, to make sure that we don't get caught rotating from C to A, Chamber won't come through the door here. He's going to play with his rendezvous, be able to take this fight, and he's going to stay there. So once we have planet A, he'll catch rotators coming through B and spawn, come in behind them for a backstab, cut rotates, and it's a success story of a round, hopefully. We're going to go for a gamble A trap. Now we're going to show no presence toward A. And we're actually showing no presence anywhere really apart from this early B line. We're going to gamble this retake. So everyone's staying quiet. We're waiting for noise. And then when door opens, Viper Wall can come up. We deny that. We can flash through this smoke. We can stun and flash this line. And we're trying to trap them and not allow them to go a quick rotate into B. Chamber then also has the opportunity to flank, or he can come join through a link to crunch on the attackers as well. When planting, these are going to be your optimal positions. Please don't ever plant in the pit on B. Always, always, always try and get up along this wall. On A, instead of tucking into this wall here, what you want to do is you want to come to the edge. It's no more spammable. You're still hidden behind this box, and you should have teammates controlling this backstab behind you as well. If you then turn out towards tree and plant the spike, it'll be viewable from main, so you know if the spike is being defused or if it's being tapped and faked, and you can just spam as necessary. Okay, so the big thing about Lotus is this bad boy, the Odin. We're going to go from A to C and just show you all of the incredible walls you can spam. So if they open door, or if they're just in tree, you can spam here with the Odin. You can spam through door down to the other side of rubble. You can't get all the way here to lobby. It's too thick, but you can get the angle towards the cross. So you can spam them trying to cross. Alternatively, you can also spam through this wall all the way back as an attacker. So this is the spam. Anyone standing outside A main or trying to run through on the barrier. This wall is also spammable. So if you hear someone picking up the orb, you can be in tree and just spam that. Lots of huge things you can do with the Odin. Through this door here. This one isn't, but on the angle here, you can spam this. This is a big one here. On B main, you can spam here with the Odin, right? Now, this wall, straight on. The wall, not medium and pen. This part is though, but also not on an angle. It's just where the Odin comes in, mega valuable, because you can still get that spam as they come into sight across this whole wall. This wall is also high pen, medium pen if you want to tickle their toes through the root here, but this is all high pen spammable with the Odin, and a very cheeky one in this corner. If you hear a Skydog or you think someone's holding here with util, you can spam this as well with the Odin. Look at that, perfectly head high. Of course, the big one on C is default. Becomes no longer safe when planting, because the Odin goes straight through. Also, you can take off heads of people, come all the way back. Really strong strategy. Wait for yourself to get smoked off, and then you can ping, shoot default. And one thing to remember about the Odin, your bullet speed gets quicker if you are down sights. So it gets a 1.15 boost if you're ADSing. So make sure you're ADSing, especially when you're spamming, so you can get great control of the spray, but also get that faster fire speed. And then the big one here, this door is spammable. So if they're coming B and you're a defender, you can spam through. And if you're defending from B and they're going to C, you can spam through here as well. And this, you just ping. But generally, if you're standing just below these stairs, it's going to be in between the middle two panels on this door. Wunderbar. There's your Odin spray tech. Default A wall from this line all the way up. Cuts off both of these lines as efficiently as possible, giving you enough space here. For your stairs orb, come up to the barrier, and you're going to be finding this line here on the wall, lining that up, and that combined with the wall cuts up the space really nicely. Here's a bit of a unique orb here, looking at this little part of the wall, lining that up with the edge of your HUD. This orb cuts off the A entrance cuts off the stairs line, but also allows you to isolate fights all the way around and lurk into stairs without contacting in A. The B wall, you just want to come stand up against this wall and just sort of throw it straight ahead. You don't want to throw it in towards the pit. It goes too low. So you want this up nice and high. Okay, C orb for activating in front of C site. The leaf here above the snake's head with the right click indicator of your orb. And that's going to come land nicely in the C entrance. And you can pop that up and down. You can pick it up as well. So from here, pick this one up and then you can throw this, just aim sort of at that leaf right, at the root right there. And that comes into back sight. Now, obviously this is just a bit of a throw-in lineup. Your team is, if your execute's going well and maybe you have this wall as well, you can just come straight through, look at the top of these windows in line with this. And then that's going to give you the best version of this orb. Cuts it off at the line, and then if you need to make a hero play, you can sneak in behind the part of the wall here. Okay, to do the Fnatic A setup, come on top of the box here and then just throw your wall across the box here so it cuts off stairs and a link. And then you're going to come onto the right side of the wall, line up with this part rather than the barrier. I find it a little bit easier, and just put your ultimate icon on the corner of this little roof line. And that gives you a setup which is great for going A. A little bit harder to take control of the space early, but if you have numbers here, then you can even drop this orb to go into A and keep all of this smoked off. All the different close orbs that you can throw. So if you just look in at the corner of this wall where the door is, in line with the top of rock, and you throw that there, that's going to cut off the space, give you a little angle to peek up here with. But if you don't go up there, then you're completely safe. But if you want to find a nice little off angle, you can go up there for that one. Also, if you come back and just look at the bottom of the middle of the door, this is going to be a nice safe one for you that just lands in the middle. Allows you to cross right over. Just make sure that you have it something. I don't care what the lineup is. Just make sure that you have it so you don't accidentally do this and screw the pooch before the round even starts, because you can't get across very easily. Okay, defensive C mound orb. You're going to look very precisely just at that corner right there, just below it. That's going to bounce out. Now it takes a while to land, so you can't peek this too early, but you can then pop it and swing. Maybe you've been lurking A, you want to throw a lineup for C, come stand in the middle of these two boxes, and then right at the top of this kind of rock formation structure, you're going to put the bottom of your orb indicator, then jump through. Jump through. As soon as you see the second one disappear, or the first one disappear, you can throw the second one. Beautiful timing. If you got to this point of the video, thank you so much for watching the whole thing. I hope you got some value out of it and you're able to win your Premier games. If you have any questions about plays or the comp or Lotus in general, or just anything Valorant related and you'd like to ask me, you can do so in the Discord, where you will also find the full playbook. So please make sure you click the link in the description if you haven't yet. Come join us in the Valorant Kitchen. And if you'd like to follow me on all my other socials, you can subscribe below. You can follow me on Twitter and on Twitch at STACKMANDU. Thanks so much. Have a good one.